Hello, it's Erica of Arable Arts, and we're here for a bat making session. I will let people gather. I will hydrate. It is very, very bright outside, so we're getting got a lot of shine happening up there in the skylight. So we'll see how it looks. Hopefully I'll remember to tilt the phone down when I get started so you can get a good view of things and not so much sun. It's also extremely windy out there. I went out earlier to run an errand and took a picture of myself with Esmeralda, and my hair was like blowing in the wind. So today I'm making a bat for Kathy. She won the 1K followers giveaway that I had over on Instagram when I hit 1,000 followers. And she might even be watching today, or she's going to watch it as a replay. So her only request was no sparkle. Okay, so no sparkle. Well, there's some silk, but I'm assuming that's not what you meant by sparkle. Hello, Jean. So we're going for green. This is going to be called Kathy's Spring Bat. Okay, so we got some green. This is Corriedale from Flannel Cake Fibers. I also have some green Comer's Silk Noil, which is sort of this silk noil, the silk waste. It's not really a noil, but that's what Blackwater Treasures has labeled it. But it's essentially sort of silk waste. Mulberry silk, by the way. So they're the very silky kind. Also, to pick up that green, we've got Bamboo in Crush is the color. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this mulberry silk fluff. So we get a lot, sort of little bits of silk. I think this color is called, let's see, Pansy. So there's some green, some sort of light bluish color, and some purple. And then we also have, just for nice contrast here, some of this golden bio nylon. Okay, so that's the plan. Let's make sure I've got enough room. I am going to move the silk down here. So you may be asking yourself, why was Erica taking pictures of Esmeralda? Because we're on Esmeralda's goodbye run right now. This morning, the vehicle in West Branch had its used vehicle inspection, and it was very positive. As in, like, there's one or two things you need to fix in the next couple months, nothing immediate, and they were impressed with how clean it was, and like there's like no rust underneath. Somebody really took care of it. So I'm trying not to use like bite the bullet, pull the trigger, because I don't like to use those types of phrases, though those are the ones that come to mind. We are going to be acquiring a new vehicle this week, and Esmeralda will be going to whatever pastures the dealer decides she's going to. Okay, so I don't know. Let me flip you down here a little bit. Sorry. There we go. So we're using Sebastian today. He is a TPI, teeth per inch, or tines per inch of 120. I was actually making a few single breed bats. I was making Wensleydale bats earlier. And things were going everywhere because Wensleydale is just, particularly in winter, it was very flyaway. Okay, so now we got a base of green down, and now we can start adding fun things. So yeah, they did the evaluation this morning, and I spoke to the mechanic, and the evaluation was a lot cheaper than the one I had done in Des Moines. And what was really nice is, the dealership paid for it. I mean, I will be reimbursing them, but I didn't have to worry about, getting in charge and making sure they had my credit card. Okay, so I got a little bit of clump there, so I'm going to pull that out like that. I'll just press that all down. So it's been a good morning. So now I have to do things like unload everything from Illinois that I brought to Illinois that's still in the car, which is most of the stuff. So I have to unload all that, I have to find out where I put the title. I'm pretty sure it's in my safety deposit box, which means I have to find the safety deposit box key. Go find the owner's manual. I think I've got a few other sort of things. Oh, I forgot to ask them. I need to ask them if they want like a service history for my mechanic. Okay, so this one I'm getting mostly the green, but then I'm going to flip it and pull out just a little bit of purple here. Just for... Just get that nice contrast there. We'll pull out the yellow. Now, Kathy, I don't know if you're watching, because I had also pulled out, I'll pull more yellow over here. So far, I only see that Jean is watching. I did pull out the silk noil. Do you want some silk noil in your bat? So it would make it flecks of white. We do get a little bit of the impression of that from some of that soft silk that I used. I'm going to use it. I will just go with a light hand, though. Sorry, I'm sorry. Sebastian is, of course, being noisy again. Yeah, I think that works. It gives it very much sort of spring garden vibes. Okay, so then we're just going to repeat. And I have more of this. I just sort of roughly divided a braid in half. Hello, Martha. Yeah, we're all working. Yeah, I know a number of people watch me with the sound off. If you've got closed caption capabilities, go for it. I haven't figured out how to turn those on. So anyway, so it was a very nice show in Macomb this weekend. There's a handful of vendors. There's like maybe 1, 2, 3, 5. There's probably 10 or 12 of us. I think there was supposed to be a used equipment auction, but I wasn't paying it. It was at the other end of the room, and I wasn't paying attention. So I don't know if that actually occurred or not. But what's really nice is a number of those vendors who were there will also be in Champaign this coming Saturday for the Illinois Fiber Festival. And in fact, the two organizers, Anne of Leaf Livestock and Cindy of Jubilee Farms, were both there. So that was quite nice. This is that Comer's Waist. Mulberry silk Comer's Waist. But this is so soft that it's not going to be anything hard against your fingers. It's just a little bit of texture. I will push those in though because they're extremely light. Yeah, and I sold like a little bit of everything, right? I don't sell a lot of my drawstring bags. Like my drawstring bags, I make mainly so I can try colors out on them. And a woman came in, she came in and she just made a beeline for me, and she's like, "I bought one last year and I need another one." I'm like, "Go right ahead." So that was quite nice. Sold some stitch markers, sold some jewelry, sold some. I got some interest in the bat bar, which so newly conceived. I sold a little bit Angelina. I sold sari silk. I got to get more sari silk. People really wanted the sari silk. Okay, so I did that. Am I missing anything? Nope. We'll do the yellow, and then we'll do the oil. Sold some clothes. I did not sell sarong, but sold bats. Sold like half the bats I had there. Sold some yarn. Not a lot of yarn, but I sold some yarn. So it was good. A little bit better than what I did the weekend before in Iowa City. And in fact, some people were in both places. So, and yes, Jean does have some of my drawstring bags. So just a little. I don't want to cover the whole thing with the silk note, but just a little there to make some interesting texture. So if you sort of squint, you get a sort of garden view. Yeah, and I packed up in an hour and a half, which was a nice time. We got there. I got there. I was the first vendor there. The organizer was there, who was also vending. And I got there a few minutes past 7 in the morning. I was a little late getting up and out. And I pull into the parking lot, and I see her at the door just kind of going like this. And she'd sent us a message the night before saying that she had gone in and marked out the spots, and it was all, all good to go, and we were going to get a little bit bigger spots than normal. They were deeper, and she always gives me a little wider, just in case I decide to set up my dressing room, but I just send people to the bathroom because it's it's a small 4H building. I've never had any issues. So she turns around, she's in her bright tie-dye, like not my kind of tie-dye, like the really bright rainbow stuff, and she's like, the key's not working. And so she's like going around trying all the doors, the key's not working. And she had known that a key had broken off in the lock earlier in the week. One of the kids, the 4H building, one of the kids had sort of jammed the door. They'd gotten it fixed. And it had worked for her the night before. It was a little stiff, but it worked. And now it didn't. And so she finally called the woman who was in charge. And the woman, I think, probably she got her out of bed. And the woman finally came in and said, yeah, it's like that. I don't know why. Maybe she's not in charge. Maybe she's the minion. I don't know. But she just says, that's the one we have to give out. But it's not the best key. And then she opens the door with her own key. No problem. But I was about 20 minutes behind schedule for setup. So when people started coming in, I was still putting jewelry out. But a nice crowd. I was a little slow at the end, but that's usually what happens. And I was really good. I only bought one thing other than lunch. They always have a food vendor. There's a sort of concession stand area. So there's a local food vendor. And I did pick up, and I meant to bring it. I'll do that in another post. I got my t-shirt for the Illinois Fiber Festival because Cindy had them with her, and so she was selling them. So I just got, vendors were getting a free t-shirt, so I got mine. It's a baseball shirt. I'm not a baseball shirt person, but it looked like the one I would like the most. So, because the others were either bright red or gray, and I don't mind gray, but red was not really my color. So yeah, so we, the only thing I bought was a little bit, it was like 2 ounces of thin from Walnut Creek Family Farm. Walnut's their first name, in their name, but they're also going to be in Champaign. And they had some burlesque and stuff like that, but they had these like 2 ounces of thin left, and it was so soft. I said, I'll buy that. So I did. But that was the only thing, because I knew I was hopefully going to buy a car this week, so I did not. Purple in. I know that looks like sort of a lot of purple, but once you fluff the bat out and you spin it, it's not going to pop up as much as it looks like now. My top 2 fibers that I like to spin. Oh, that's hard. Falkland. I'm a huge fan of Falkland. I'm actually not a fan of merino, honestly. Probably Corriedale or Shetland. Because Shetland is so wide, right? The variety, there's the fine Shetlands, there's the more coarse Shetlands. I learned to spin on Shetland. So I do have a place in my heart for Shetland. I'm not one of those people who's like, it's got to be, 17.5 micron merino, type stuff like that. I don't mind coarser fibers. I'm on the fence about Jacob. I've got a couple. Jacob also varies widely. I've got some Jacob set aside that I'm going to spin at some point. But probably Shetland. And then Falkland. Falkland is just so easy to spin. But for those of you turning in late, the very first used vehicle I looked at, but said, I'm not sure I want to get this. It's more than I really want to spend. After some disastrous other ones that I looked at, and some with a used vehicle inspection list that was so long, that I was like, yeah, no, I'm not buying that. Because I'll just be fixing it every single month. I had the first vehicle I looked at, I sent it for a used vehicle inspection from a mechanic that my friend recommended down by the dealer. It's about an hour and a half from me. Because nobody near me had what I wanted. And so I talked to the mechanic earlier today, and around lunchtime, he's like, yeah, it's a really sweet vehicle. It's like for being a 2012. It is super clean, has under 100,000 miles, has like no rust under it. Whoever had it, the one or two owners that had beforehand took really good care of it. Eventually it's going to need some front struts and alignment, but not yet, but soon. And somebody fixed the muffler and did some bad welding. So eventually that will need to be fixed, but it doesn't have to be done right now. I'm in no danger if I drive it the way it is. And so I'm like, yes. It's like, brakes are good, tires are good. Serpentine belt's good. So, the plan is to get it on Wednesday, which means tonight I've actually pulled Esmeralda around front so that tonight, once it gets darker and I'm not making bats anymore, so I'm frantically trying to replace the bats I sold, I can unload her of everything except for dye lab stuff, because I will go to the dye lab tomorrow. I just realized I wasn't going to make it today. It was going to be too hard to get out of the house and do a longer thing. And the idea was I would wait for, there's still things I can dye here, but I was going to wait for the jumpsuits to show up and stuff like that. I'm not sure the Dharma order is coming today. I took the tracking number. It still says expected today, but it's got this thing with a red exclamation point that says, like, shipping exception. It's in Waterloo. I have no clue what that means. Like, does it mean, like, they put it down and forgot to put it on a truck? I don't know what it means. But it means, because of the way the schedule's working, I can only dye on Tuesday and wash on Thursday. Wednesday's going to get tied up with the new vehicle. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I would love to have the jumpsuits ready for, at least the jumpsuits, and I'm down to like 2 Judy tunics, like one in small and one in medium. And so I really would like to have more of those. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how late FedEx delivers. So yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, but the only thing I'm a little not as happy with is this particular van doesn't have windows all around it. It only has the back windows and then of course the ones in the cab. Does have very good mirrors, and I keep reminding myself that for a good 6 years, no, it was 6 years, it was 3 years, I drove a 40-foot transit bus in which you don't look out the back, you just use the mirrors. Plus it has a backup mirror, or backup camera, so should not be a problem. I can do this. So I am excited about it, just a little nervous. They're going to pick it up on Wednesday. I'll probably have to pack it up on Thursday and then Friday drive it to Indiana. Sorry, Illinois. Almost Indiana, Illinois. So that'll be the shakedown drive, I guess. Thank you. Yeah, I like the way the purple, you always want to, sometimes you want something more monochromatic, but having something that contrasts it, so between the gold and the purple, that gets you some nice colors. Now, this will only be the second car I've ever owned. My dad had a car that, like, my sister and I shared when we were teenagers, but it was still technically his car. Esmeralda is the first car I ever bought myself. Bought her in 2001, so she's old. So, she's 2001, so a 2012 is really modern for me. But when I bought Esmeralda, I did all this research and decided exactly what I wanted and which model and all that. And then I found the dealerships out east because I was in grad school in Iowa, but I was moving for my first position at Duke in North Carolina and Durham, and so. You didn't internet shops a lot of stuff back then, and so I actually I was emailing all these dealerships looking for someone who had the exact model I wanted, and this one in Cary, North Carolina, had it, and so I knew exactly what I was looking for. So this time was the same sort of way. I knew what I wanted, but could I find it? Because particularly this was an older model. I actually drove the more modern Ford Transit Connects, and I didn't like them. The ones before 2013, when they changed the model shape, or the body shape, I feel comfortable driving those, even though it's a taller vehicle. So, okay, so this is our last layer. Yeah, I think that's our last layer. So get some of the yellow on here. We'll get some soap and oil. Got these little stubby bits from earlier rounds. So yeah. And I think I'm just going to, be sure to give myself a lot of time to travel on Friday. To be sure, I'm comfortable with it. Obviously, I'm going to get to drive it home from the dealership, too. So, okay, so that is Kathy's spring bat. Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, so this is where you get to guess how much you think this weighs. I'm not going to get to show you the finished rolled one because the folding area is still covered with stuff. I pulled out a bunch of stuff looking for my fibers to make the bat bar. But I will fold it up and take some photos and post those a little bit later today. Let's get this closed so I don't end up with silk nubby bits everywhere. Okay, there we go. Get the scale. I can still weigh it without doing the fun rolling. Okay, and then I want this. So we'll break the bat, and then you can start guessing at the weights. I couldn't tell if I grabbed the slightly smaller or slightly thicker half of this particular Corriedale braid. Now, I hated the getting up part this morning, but having it be, oh, look at that. I got a little bit of fiber that went over the edge. Okay. Let's see if I've got, okay, so I'm going to press down here. This will let me, hello, Anita. Maybe not the heaviest of bats. We'll see. You know, that silk doesn't weigh anything. That's part of it. And so, Kathy, if you're watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed it and you like what you're going to get. I'll be mailing it out sometime this week. Obviously, I still have to get your address from you. So, okay. So before the fluffing and the folding, this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to quickly sort of roll it like this so I can fit it in the scale. There. Tear it out. Go. Go like this to make sure it all gets in there. Okay, what did you guys guess for weights? Okay, so Martha's probably closest at this point. So the amount is 2.46 ounces. So almost an ounce and a half. Almost two and a half ounces. My brain. Yeah, this morning I was filling the Brita filter pitcher, and you know I put it under the faucet and I let the water in, and then I took my plate for breakfast that had some crumbs on it, and I just sort of pushed the crumbs into the sink, some of which ended up in the filter, and I was just like, okay, that you need more caffeine, or you're just up too early. Okay. So this is going to be Kathy's spring. I'll write that down. Okay. Yeah, so when I get photos of the new vehicle and everything, do I take bat requests? We can talk. I do some commissions, like when I do prizes, I'll take some commissions. It depends. There's some elements I can control and some I can't. So depending on what you're wanting, I probably can. So send me a PM. Just remember, March is incredibly busy for me. So because I'm trying to replenish things I've sold. I've got a sale every weekend, which is more than I should do, but they're all the local ones, and so I got to do them, right? It'll make up for the months where I don't have something, and I can finish paying for the car. Yeah, so actually the next investment is going to be a dolly to cart around all this stuff, because it will now fit in. I now will have a vehicle that will be big enough to put it in. So, yeah. So you have seen it. I did post a photo of it at one time. If you scroll back through, it's the one without the windows. But I will have better photos of it soon. And eventually it will get a name, but not yet, unless something comes to me. So yeah, so I'm gonna make some more bats. Well, I still got the good daylight. Actually, I'm gonna go to the post office first and mail off a few things that people have been waiting either for me to die or requested over the weekend, and get those out in the mail so they're done and gone, and I don't have to worry about them. Otherwise, yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. You're not dragging too much because of the time change, and I will see you around on Facebook.